Good evening, everyone. I would ask all of you to be seated and come to order. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Paul Arteta, the Orange County Sheriff, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise for the presentation of the colors.
Forward march. More time. Tail halt. Left face. Present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Right face. Forward, march.
You may be seated.
Thank you, Sheriff Arteta. This time, it gives me, for those of you that don't know me, I'm David Hoovler, the District Attorney of Orange County. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Michael Sweeten, the Supervisor of the Town of Warwick for the past 21 and a half years. The Honorable Michael Sweeten.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. I don't want anybody to worry. This is not a coup, although I did aspire to this position at one point in time, right? But I'm just here to tell you about a relationship and a friend. Goes back 25 years or so. He was a young man learning politics next to my good friend John Hicks, and he learned quickly. He became a councilman and a supervisor in the neighboring town to me, in the town of Chester. And from that point on, we talked frequently, we met often, we discussed how to tackle problems, how to get over issues, how to handle the mandates that came to us without funding. And it was a good relationship, it was a strong relationship. And then when the county was facing some tough issues, and there were some leadership issues at the time, we both stepped forward and decided we had the ability to perhaps lead the county to a better place. We had a vigorous debate, we had exchange of great ideas, and he prevailed, and I was able to go back to my town and serve my residents. But from that day, he made a decision to change the relationship between the county and its municipalities from that of a parent and child to one of a partnership, a strong partnership. And I believe it was that partnership that allowed him to face the challenges that he had to face, to lead us through a period of pretty dark times and lead us out into a bright future. And he's continued to build on that, using that partnership with each of the cities, towns, and villages in this county. And the results are clear. People want to come here, they want to live here, they want to bring their businesses here, and it's flourishing. And that's through leadership. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you my friend, colleague, and our county executive, Steve Neuhaus.
Hold on, I want to give you a hug. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, I'm good. Mike's good? Okay. This one, okay, great. First off, thank you to the Sheriff's Office Color Guard. We have an awesome bunch of men and women that work in the county government, all the different departments. We have over 38 different departments doing all different stuff to serve the people of Orange County, but I work very closely with the Sheriff's Office and our new Sheriff, Paul Arteta. There's probably nobody that could have teed him off wrong for the Pledge of Allegiance, because I told him, I said, I got to tell you, when I ran for county executive, I was asked to do the pledge at the town of Montgomery community fair, and I said I blanked out. a guy that's done the pledge a million times, and I told him this right before he was going up. And I said a priest saw me like getting ready to struggle, and he goes, "I got you. I'll walk you through it." The Pledge of Allegiance. And then my friend Mike Sweeten. Mike and I have been friends for 25 years, and he is the leader of not only the town of Warwick as a town supervisor, but he is the president of the Association of Town Supervisors and Mayors. Very powerful group, facing all different types of struggles and hurting all different types of people. The city of Middletown is very different from the town of Warwick. The town of Warwick is different from the city of Newburgh. And we have a lot of different and diverse problems, but he's done a great job. He's hanging it up as being a town supervisor of Warwick this year after decades of service. But I know after you retire, you're still going to be drawn to this because you're a young man, you have a lot of great talent, and it brings you back in, as you see from a lot of people that are part of our circle. So with that, folks, let's start with the State of the County address. Finances. You can't talk about county government, and if you're first time seeing this, I do this Tony Robbins style. I don't read scripts, I don't like to do speeches like this. I just go from basically how we operate county government on a regular basis. So finances, you're not able to operate county government without finances. So first off, revenues. So we have a close to $1 billion budget, it's $900 million. 44%, so the biggest chunk of what keeps this engine running is sales tax. So you're going to hear this example when I constantly talk about economic development. I know my friend Maureen Hallahan's here. I know Steve Gross, I saw you, my economic development team. Amanda Dane is probably here somewhere. And Steve Knobb I saw. We have a big nucleus, Heather from the Chamber of Commerce. We're constantly working with business, big, small, whatever, because that sales tax runs our machine, the county government. And why do I say that as well? Because towns, cities, counties across America are predominantly run by property tax, where everybody's paying. So if I can have sales tax, which is spread to paying to somewhere else, 80% they say and plus are from out of county people are helping contribute to that. Then let's look at the other revenues, is our fees and things like that. And then it drops off. County taxation is actually third, and then it drops off to other stuff, state, federal aid, and surplus, hotel, motel tax. Our expenditures, the biggest ones are like DSS, aging. Then you go down to the next tiers, Valley View Health Department, mental health. Third is DGS, which is an IT, finance, budget. You don't get into what you think county government is, the average taxpayer, the sheriff's office, the jail, the district attorney, emergency services, where you're in our headquarters right now, probation. And then down below that is public works, your roads, environmental facilities, parks, planning, and then it continues to go down to tourism, community development, and all sorts of other services we do, debt service at the end, and then clerk's office, law department, legislature, BOE, and ethics. So while you see your state and federal government continuing to go more and more in debt, to keep the big hot issue the last couple weeks in the federal government is raising the debt ceiling. Federal government's just continuing to balloon. Our county government has actually reduced debt over the last 10 years. So by $28 million. And that's on the cusp of us building a $75 million brand new government center, plus $20 million in emergency communications upgrades so we can have interoperability between our fire, police, EMS, which is critical when you're responding to all these emergencies. We also saved over $13 million for refinancing and getting better financing deals. Obviously, we're not going to get those today with the interest rates, but we have great people working for us. 2014, 10 years ago, we were paying 3.9%. We have the lowest property tax rate since the 60s. This is the most important thing. If you take anything away tonight, you want to give real relief to people, poor people, rich people, companies, households. The average family has gotten a actual tax reduction, property tax reduction in their county taxes. That's because of the 21 legislators we have. We have a very diverse legislature. They represent a very diverse county, and they're from different parties. But when you talk to other counties around the state, Republicans and Republicans, Democrats and Democrats can't get along. In Orange County, we got a different story. And we're successful because we're able to work together like that. 29% reduction in the last 10 years. You do not see that everywhere. So the fund balance, so this is our rainy day fund. We're going to get into that. So you're going to be like, okay, 10 years ago, it was $20 million, $21 million. Now we're over $200 million. Why don't we just give all that $200 million back to the residents? Well, I just told you we already did a tax break. Why do we need to keep a rainy day fund? Mike Sweeten alluded to it a minute ago. Rainy day fund, this is just where it's gone over the last couple of years, grown, had a little bit of a stagnation in 20, then ballooned up again. We keep it for a number of reasons. The state comptroller says you need to have a fund balance policy. Moody's, which gives us our bond rating, says you should have between 15 and 30%. Kerry Gallagher, who runs my finance department, is sitting next to our budget director, as well as our financial advisor, Noah, who's here as well. Those three are the ones that advise me and sit and hold my hand as we go to the World Trade Center every year and articulate our financial position to Moody's. Moody's suggests, and Deb, thank you for being here as well, our fund balance should be between 15 and 30%. GFOA also has standards. So if you look at where we are, we're at about 200 million. So we're in the upper 20% of where we should be. Very financially strong. And we need to have that fund balance because our problems are coming mainly from Albany right now. We also had a pandemic, which also off-tilted the whole world. So what are the challenges coming from Albany? Medicaid. We have $900 million budget. I told you, that's how we operate, DSS, all the other different departments. The federal, state, and county government spend $1 billion in Orange County alone on Medicaid. $1 billion on Medicaid. Tons of people in this county are on Medicaid. Many of them need it. Some of them don't. New York State has one of the most robust Medicaid systems in the country, spends the most money. In the past, thankfully, I think it was President Trump and Biden and Chuck Schumer said, whoa, Medicaid's all screwed up in some of these states. Let's send the money directly to the counties, not to the state government. So now the current plan in New York State this year is to actually take the Medicaid away from the counties, going directly from the federal government, and the states keeping them. So they raised the standards, they set the standards on who qualifies for it, and we pay the bill. The taxpayers in the county pay the bill, and they withhold this money and spend it for whatever else they can't budget in Albany. The other thing is the MTA payroll tax. They're continuing to add pain to businesses, and they're like saying, well, it's just businesses, it's not the employees. We all know the employees are the one that pay the price. When they're saying they're punishing these guys, it's you and me, the consumer, that pays the price. We're in one of the highest inflations in decades. Inflation is a tax on the poor. That's what inflation is. It hurts the average family. It really crucifies the poor families. We also have AT&B Defense Fund, which is also being hit from Albany too. I believe that they need to raise the rates, but they need to support us on this. And the last thing is bail reform. Huge problems with bail reform. We're seeing it. A couple weeks ago, I had dinner with one of the leaders of one of our biggest communities in the county, and he expressed his frustration about bail reform. He had an individual that had been arrested repeated times, sex offender, burglaries, violent assault, let him out of jail multiple times in 1 week. Then one Saturday morning, he wakes up, walks to his local grocery stores, and almost walks up to the first person coming out of the grocery store with his groceries and almost beats the guy to death on video. It's being tried right now. The district attorney's office is going to be trying that case. This guy should have been locked up to keep us safe. We're going to go into it a little bit later on right now. I know they're making compromises to improve the law, but there's a ton of work that needs to be done on this. Annual sales tax revenue. I remember I talked about this is what fuels our government. Why does it matter? And who makes this happen? This is the Woodbury Commons. I know we have some of their folks in our room tonight. They employ thousands and thousands of people in our county. Men and women are putting bread on the table, their food on their table for their families. They work at different jobs. One of them is the Commons. But everyone matters, whether you talk about Legoland, you talk about the Newburgh Mall, which has now seen some activity with the casino and the Galleria. And there's also Main Street. Your local delis, your local hardware stores, all your local restaurants, every time we're spending $1 in a county and you're paying a sales tax, it contributes to not only that big fund we have there, but it also contributes to what we don't have to pay in property tax. Robust sales tax sharing plan. So just over the last 10 years, we've shared over $700 million with our local towns, villages, and cities. Not every county does that. And I think it's the right thing to do because it shows that we're all together on this. So when you pay your sales tax, not only does the county, the cities, the towns, the village share, the state takes their cut too. But this is all shared. ARPA funds, this is the federal American Rescue money. Some counties used it for social programs and experiments and giveaways and things like that. My legislature and I said, no, we're going to use this for infrastructure. 43% is going to infrastructure. 23% is going for equipment and security, like trucks. You see that there. 21% plus is going towards employees and retention. Then 8% is going to school security systems. There's nothing in the world that fears me. I will fight anybody. I will do whatever I have to do to survive. The military has trained me well. The thing that keeps me up at night, and probably most people that have kids, and most people probably that don't have kids, is what you see on TV every day, an active shooter situation. It seems to happen every other day. And one of the things we're committed to here is not wait for something to happen, but to be proactive. So many of the schools across America are made out of brick and mortar, concrete reinforced with steel. You have almost zero communications in there. Your radios, your cell phones don't work. You've seen the story on TV. The cops get there, they can't talk to each other once they're inside there. We're taking a very active role to try to fix every building. And we have a lot of school districts in the county to try to tackle this issue. The other things we're spending it on, Think Differently, and some other great stuff, CIT training and PPE, so that we're prepared for the next what if. Economic development, I keep talking about this because it contributes to us having jobs for our people and sales tax to offset the property tax. This is an economic development summit we did last year. Panels of people that are professionals, economists, people that can give basically the future of what they think. What are the hottest trends? What do you need to be cautious about? Who do you call for help? Here's some of the new projects. Woodbury Commons in Central Valley continues to be economic engine for sales tax. Adams Ferry Co Farms in Walk Hill, family-owned business in the Hudson Valley. Medline in Montgomery, the biggest building in Orange County, 1.3 million square feet, employing hundreds of people there right now. Royal Wine and Goshen's coming here, moving a big part of their operation from New Jersey. And then Resorts World opened their new casino in the Newburgh Mall, which is going to breed some activity in that mall that's been struggling. Foreign trade zone. So this has been sitting on our shelf collecting dust for a couple decades, not really active. It's basically allows us to have another incentive to bring businesses here. Our foreign trade zone is probably one of the most powerful, if not in New York State, because for some reason when they set it up, we can use it in any other county. So we have counties in Long Island that are actually benefiting from that, and we get a fee for doing it. New York Stewart International Airport, the former president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, when I was a kid going to these chamber meetings, working for Harry Poor in Newburgh, he would send me every month, chamber meeting, meet these guys. He had a saying, use it or lose it with Stewart. And I have to say, Allegiant, and I know my parents are here, they probably kept it afloat, one of the people in the county, is never stop service to their destinations. I think they go to Myrtle Beach. I know they go to Florida. But they've never stopped service. Play, who has recently came on, that's taken us across the pond, but also at other destinations across Europe, is continuing to do service as well. But like I said, if we support it, they will continue to not only operate, but attract other carriers to come here. Tourism, film, very hot. Poker Face, White House Plumbers, Pretty Little Liars, filming right now, Pretty Little Liars. That's Brendan Fraser who got the Oscar. Oscars are made here in Orange County, by the way, if you didn't know that. Really awesome bit of history. And The Whale got the Grammy Award, which he did. 90% of The Whale was filmed in Orange County. 90%. Hotel and motel tax revenues. This was created back in my predecessor, Steve Gross, you were part of this. Continues to grow and bring in millions of dollars to the county. So the legislature and I said we need to spend more of that on tourism. I came back from my deployment in Europe last year. I said, hey guys, let's do the four-season campaign. So fall, winter, spring, summer, we do a separate little campaign to try to attract people, whether it's like the Apple Fest in Warwick or it's any type of other big events we're doing. We have now tried to attract more people to it, and we're trying to really signal big things and small things, but we think that's going to actually get people's interest. What does it mean? What has it done? Let's look. 89% increase in website traffic, 39% increase in Facebook's follows, and a 19% increase in occupancy tax. Later on, I'm going to be talking about the best fighter demonstration campaign, plane group in the country, the Blue Angels, Navy guy, right? They're coming here in the summertime, and Amanda Dana from tourism called me a month or so ago, so we got a problem. I think the Blue Angels have to stay in Dutchess County because all our hotels are booked. That's not a problem to me. I want to help the region. That's a great problem to have. So our occupancy tax is up 19%. We have a ton of hotels on the drawing board. This is good stuff. These are actually, you don't have to just hear it from me. These are third-party validators. Tourism projects, like what's coming, what's growing, what's doing well. The front on, which is going on in Port Jervis, hotel, rooftop, awesome-looking bar being proposed right now. Under construction, it'll be done in a few months. Aspire Brewing over in Walk Hill. I see our supervisor, George Serrano, over there. He's like the brewery master over there in Walk Hill. A lot of great stuff happening there. Legoland in Goshen, one of the best things I think that's happened to us. They do incredible stuff for veterans and a lot of people that need it. Last week, they took care of a veteran family, and during the Christmas break, they took care of another family from a unit that a third of this unit that was on this one particular ship, a third of them have committed suicide in the last 5 years. Third of them, and there's hundreds of people on these ships. So these guys bend over backwards to help schools, and if they're not, you call us up and we will help you because they're very generous in employing people. The milk factory being put together by the same people doing City Winery, breathing life into a dead building. It's going to be great. Storm King Art Center, one of our top attractions in the county, is going to be expanding. And then you have Angry Orchard, which was so busy they had to buy other places for additional parking for the amount of growth and interest coming here. These are just a sampling of projects. Sharing the love on those, right? I told you we generated millions from hotel motel tax. So we decided to share the love and give some grants to local municipalities. I see Molly O'Donnell, the new mayor of Goshen, and Joe Betro, the supervisor in Goshen. They welcome back the Mid-Hudson St. Patrick's Day Parade. Good stuff. It's good for our county. Mid-Hudson St. Patrick's Day Parade in Orange County. Then you have other stuff like the Pine Bush UFO Fair, which is a great thing. I've been to them in the past. A lot of people come to check them out, as well as all these other great things going on in the county. Newburgh Illuminated. I know it's on the ropes right now. It'll probably happen. Those things all can benefit from these good things happening. Monroe Food Truck Festival started a couple of years ago, going great. I know Denise is starting them now in Wawayanda last year, taking that model from her fellow supervisor and trying to do something successful in her community. That's the benefit of us all working together, like Mike Sweeten said. We had a citizen preparedness class here a month ago where we basically give you the basics for the apocalypse. We don't make you a crazy doomsday prepper, but we tell you how you can self-rescue rather than sit and wait for help if it's going to come in some type of emergency. They also gave you this neat backpack as well. So we had them here. I gave them a tour of this whole building, which is kind of incredible, the stuff that we do to try to help respond and help people that are having an emergency. Proactive public safety. Like I told you, the only thing that keeps me up at night is an active shooter situation. Every day, every 911 call that's of significance, myself and key county leaders get, and we wonder what's going to happen and who we have to send to help it. Last November on Election Day, because schools were open but no students were there, we did an active shooter drill where we simulated something happening in the school. We had first responders there, we had educators and faculty from schools, we also had videographers. I am going to be releasing next month in May a video that's going to be in 3 different parts. One video is going to be for parents, one video is going to be for faculty and staff of schools, and one is going to be for emergency responders as a training tool of what you will see, what you can expect if you, God forbid, have to be in one of these situations. Another thing that we've been doing and school districts have been doing around the county, we're working with them as well, is family reunification centers. Again, never had to think about this, never even knew about these things 5-10 years ago. This is where, if there is an emergency like this, the first thing you do, like I do as a parent, is head to the school you want to get your kid. They are now having them meet at a separate building in the area so first responders are not bogged down in traffic, and because people will leave their cars. Take the keys or leave the keys. We've seen this happen in a couple close calls in Orange County. So we want the parents to go to somewhere else. I know it's hard to understand, and we have to keep those lanes open for first responders. Time is critical in these situations. School communication upgrades, like I told you, this is one of our biggest concerns. We've already, the legislature backed me up on this, over $8 million is going to help these. And that's just going to be just touching the surface of this is a big price to get these things going. And Orange County is now storm certified by the National Weather Service. This all matters. Everything we do in emergency responding or county government, we have to learn from the mistakes, right? Last week we had over 500 acres destroyed in 3 different wildfires in the county. Did tremendous work. Wonderful partnership with the state, by the way. State emergency management commissioners coming down on Monday just to talk and do a hot wash with us, basically a debrief to see what went right, what went wrong. We constantly pull these apart and say, okay, everything went well. What went wrong? What are we missing? We're constantly doing this stuff. So our county did a wonderful job last weekend attacking those fires. So does this stuff look familiar? So these things are all sold in Orange County in the last couple months illegally. These are all illegal. And the problem is the state allows this to happen. They're unreally enforced right now. And the problem is what we're having in schools here, and I have samples of them here. I'm not going to let you guys taste them. They're empty. They know better with this crowd. This is the real ones that Dave Hoovler survives on, and me and myself. This is the one that's containing drugs that's being sold in Orange County, getting kids high. What young people don't know is how much to take of this. That's the problem. It says take one. It's got a little label. Look, there's just one little thing on the bottom. Nobody ever reads this. I've never read a calorie thing in my life that says that, yeah, you shouldn't take more than one of these chips if you want to get, or you're going to have some problems. The problem is somebody takes this, they put this home. Their little brother or sister says, Doritos, love these, taking these to school with me, opens them up, shares them, you know the history. And this goes with all these different products here. Lifesaver, I don't know who thinks this is a good idea, except for Albany, who wants to make money off this, because they do have barcodes on the legal ones. This is what our Attorney General and everybody else should be going after, because we are having big problems in our schools, in Orange County, and I can bet you anything across the state, because that Wonka bar says you're supposed to take one brick to get high. Who has ever had a kid? Well, maybe some of you guys, but 90% of you are like me and eat the whole bar. And if you're a kid, like my kids, you're going to eat the whole bar. This is not a good thing, guys. Look at these gummy bears. I had a picture of me at a military base last week holding one of these gummy bears. We didn't use it, but the exact same bag. It just didn't have the little THC thing in there. What you should know as parents, deceptive packaging should be outlawed. Somebody should enforce this. The problem is Albany's the one that set this problem up. There's a lot of internal stuff I can get into on this. Albany has allowed this to happen, and now it's become off the rails. You have to call your representatives and say, pull this back. Not a good idea. I don't care. Learn how to balance your budget with something else than this. And then you also have, this is something that the district attorney, myself, the sheriff, repeat all the time. You have to have these uncomfortable conversations with your kids. As a parent, you need to know what the heck they're doing, what they're looking at, what they're reading. You have to. It's not like it was in the days when I grew up in the 80s. It's a very tough time. And if you want, you can look at this QR code. And by the way, this will be available later on if you want to have some more information on this. Fire Services, I said, did an incredible job. The legislature and I are going to push to the max the biggest discount we can do in your taxes for this. It is now allowed in New York State, so we're going to take advantage of that. So more importantly, our firefighters and first responders, EMS, EMTs, can take advantage of this property tax break. It's different everywhere you go because the county and some of the towns are opting in. Some of the school districts are deciding if they're opting in. But at least it gives them the opportunity. Because if you see the stuff that we do and the amount of calls, they do a lot of work to come in there. It's hard to get people to come up to these crews. So you want to give them an incentive, and they deserve it. They don't get much for this. They really don't, even if they have the LoSAT incentive. Anyway, let's get back to this. Technical rescue team. Water rescues are becoming more and more frequent with us. We gave our Meritorious Service Awards last week, and a few of them were police officers showed up on the scene or people that couldn't wait for the apparatus and had to jump in. We're going to be investing in bags that are going to be going to some of our first responders, especially the ones that are frequently the first ones to show up. The bags are going to have one of those like toss-out things. You're a Navy person, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you've probably seen it on the Love Boat. But they'll be having one of those so they can hopefully help save these people. We had a water rescue a few days ago in the Delaware, and as the warmer months come, it's getting more busy. So we're going to expand that team. We're going to increase the training in person and virtually. Then we have the Fire Training Center, fully technological upgrades going on there, increase the number of the type of courses and the number of courses. And we're going to be hosting a New York State Instructor Certification Conference, first time outside of the New York State Fire Academy. That'll be here in June. Vinny Tancaselli's in the back. And I have to tell you, I'm sorry, Paul, I'm going to cut you off for a second. I have to tell you, Vinny Tancaselli and Jackie Bray is the Commissioner of Emergency Services. I was on the phone with her 5 o'clock in the morning during the brush fires, and Vinny Tancaselli, he ran point for us for emergency service, did a great job. 3 years ago, he was on his deathbed with COVID. So, Vinny, it's great to see you in the back there. Yeah, we can give him a round of applause. He's hiding in the shadows. He's hiding in the shadows, but he does a great job, and it's probably one of the most beloved people in the fire services. Our new sheriff, Paul Arteta, I've worked with him for over 25 years in the streets of Newburgh. I don't even know what rank you were. You might have been just a deputy or investigator or something, but you and I were brand new on the job, and I've had a great friendship since then, and he has been not a stranger to the sheriff's office. So it's not like he just came out of here and didn't know where the bathrooms were or what was going on. He knew every part of the sheriff's office and what it entailed. One of the big things him and the district attorneys are doing, big white-collar crime task force. Also, our deputies, before he took office, we were sending our deputies to other police academies around the state. We have one in the county that the county legislature and I fund, part of it. So they are now going to be starting to go back to that academy. And then also 10 new canine dogs. Why is that important? On a regular basis, I've seen this happen. I go to some of the scenes for these emergency calls. We need a dog to clear a school. We need a dog to clear a restaurant. We need a dog to clear a mall. It happens, I'm telling you, on a regular basis. District Attorney Dave Hoovler, this is us at the fire graduation over in Chester. 2022, the DA's office had 100% conviction rate for felony jury trials. They're aggressively combating illegal weapons possession and narcotics trafficking. And they have an action plan for implementing a paperless prosecution. All these different things that are getting pushed down to our lawyers, both in the county attorney's office as well as the district attorney's office. They're the first one in Hudson Valley that actually implemented this. So great job working with DA Dave Hoovler as well. Don't worry, we're getting to you, Kelly. I'll get you later. We went back and forth. We were going to put you in order, but you're on best for last. Public Works. This is in the Village of Warwick bridge that we just did last year. We have incredible county employees. We have over 2,000 county employees that work with me. All different departments doing incredible stuff. Public Works and their bridge division do incredible stuff in-house. Many of these counties around the state just farm it out. Everything's contracted out. There's not anybody that does the work. They just basically show up. Everything's contracted out. We have a great team of professionals that actually love doing this stuff. And they build it like the Grateful Dead song, Built to Last. Infrastructure. So we have numerous design projects in the hopper. We have this airport project going on over in Montgomery. The airport project in Montgomery has been talked about for decades. It's happening right now. Every day, a little bit more progress on it. Things are happening. Bridge and culvert replacements and repairs. We did 68% of county roads have been paved in the last 10 years. 68%. Then you go to the state, absolutely worst. One of my employees was telling me they were on 17M. There was 4 cars backed up. Every one of them lost a tire last Sunday. Every one of them lost a tire. It is atrocious. There's better roads in Baghdad, I can tell you, I can swear on the oath, than they are here. It's embarrassing. New York State Region 8 is the least funded, and it's ranked the worst in the state. So I hate to beat up on these guys, but do your job. Because I see a lot of supervisors and mayors in the room. You guys get heat, and your highway superintendents, when your roads have potholes. The condition of the state is embarrassing. I know help is on the way, but they got to hustle to get caught up to where we need to be. Because when we're trying to bring businesses here and families, and they need to get a back adjustment and a tire alignment just to come visit, that's a problem. So I love our parks. Believe it or not, just about less than an hour ago, I was running, or more than just about an hour ago, I was running on the Harris Trail. It's one of my things I do before a speech. We have wonderful trails. The Harris Trail, I'm going to talk about in a second more. We have unbelievable parks going on. We're putting a new water system in the county parks with that ARPA money. So when we're gone, our grandkids that are paying for the ARPA money are actually going to be able to use it. The other thing is our golf. Our golf is actually paying the bills rather than having to be subsidized, which it had to be over the years. 4 new pickleball courts. I could tell you nothing. I have no idea what the heck this sport is. But all we do, like many other communities, is more and more pickleball. We need more pickleball. Okay. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. They're getting a pickleball court. County legislature and I can't wait to play on there, to figure out what the heck it is. Preserving open space. We have an incredible relationship with the Orange County Land Trust and the Open Space Institutes. There's 3, and the county. It's the 3 of us that are together, working together. The 3 of us meaning the county, because I have my planning and parks, the legislature, preserving open space all over the place. Goshen, Deer Park, you name it, Port Jervis, Warwick. Mike Sweeten has wrote the textbook on this. Sugarloaf Mountain, happening in Chester. But if you are watching this and you're a resident or you're a supervisor and you're like, I got a great piece of property, I want to preserve this, give us a call. Call up Jim DeLon from the Land Trust, call me up, call the Open Space Institute. We'll take a look at it. If it meets the qualifications, most of the stuff can get funded by outside sources. There's a lot of funding for open space. In the Hudson Valley last year, I think there's some counties that put 0 applications for open space. So the odds for us are good. So let's talk about it. County trails, I talked about the Harris Trail. Love it, near and dear to my heart. The green line is the Harris Trail, close to 20 miles. The little blue section is going to be done next. And then you see this little purple line coming out on the side of it. And that's our new proposed line. It's going to happen. We've secured the property rights through OSI, through the Land Trust, and we're going to be building just about 10 miles heading out to Salisbury Mills. So the great thing about this stuff is the trails, just like I said, the open space is funded by, like when the Exxon Valdez comes up and hits something, all that spill money and damage money goes into a pot. That's how we get our open space money. The money we get for our trails comes from federal transportation money. So if you look at this 10 miles that we're doing, 22 million plus is coming from the feds, 2.8 is coming from the state, 2.8 is coming from us. Kind of a good deal in my opinion, when someone else is paying the bill more than we are. And it is extremely popular, and we are super proud to have it there. So here's Darcy Miller, our Commissioner of Mental Health and Social Services, myself talking to Cardinal Dolan at one of our warming shelters in the city of Newburgh, talking about the need to help people that really are suffering right now. So one of those things we did, over the last 3 years, we started 3 years ago, the 311, non-emergency calls. People call up, and these people are embedded. If you guys want to, my staff's going to kill me. If you've never been in this building before and you just came from outer space and you want to see what this 911 center is about, my staff and I will walk you through what you own and what they're doing right now. So in the room behind this wall are dispatchers taking 911 calls, but with them are also 311 call takers. Those people are taking non-emergency calls, but important calls, right? So mental health, people like, I'm not feeling really well, or I'm worried about this person. Suicide prevention, a lot of people, all walks of life, doctors, lawyers, rich, poor, calling this, asking for help. And if it turns out to be emergency, we can transfer it right over to 911. They're sitting right next to each other. Developmental disabilities, substance abuse. We have parents, loved ones saying, I got somebody, I think they're addicted to drugs. I have no idea what the heck to do. Where do I get help? You also have sexual assault. These are important issues. They're happening in our community. Then you have text for teens. They need somebody special to talk to, just like our veterans. And we've provided that opportunity as well. So the proof is in the pudding, folks, right? 36,000 the first call, the first year, 46 the next year, 51, a 40% increase since we started this. This proves it. My legislature and I are not afraid to try new things. If it fails, fine, but at least we tried it, right? This is something we tried, it worked, and we're going to continue to fund it. Opioid settlements. The Association of County Executives and the National Association of Counties got together And we said, you know what? We need to file a class action lawsuit against the opioid manufacturers. They're killing our residents. They're costing money for overdose, because we pay for this. Medicaid, all these things are paying for this. We decided to file a class action lawsuit. The state's attorney generals jumped in with us, and then it just became different lawsuits. Federal judge said, put them all together. And our legal department in the county attorney's office is our representatives with it. And they are now helping us by stewarding where this money goes. So every county across the country has gotten tens of millions of dollars, depending on your size, of this money. So what do you do with it? So one of the things is, we call it like a three-legged stool, basically: prevention, treatment, recovery. I know Darcy and some of the professionals in the audience are like, this guy's not presenting it exactly as we'd like it, but it's close enough for the layman like me. So prevention is one of the things. The best thing you can do if you want for a drug addiction is not start, right? Then the people that need help, you get them help, and then there's different other steps after. One of the things we did on a national level, this is being done in LA right now, California. Every resident in Orange County is going to get one of these. So this bag right here is, you can go to your medicine cabinet, empty out everything you have in there that you're not using, steal this bag up, throw it in the trash. The unique thing about this bag, you guys are going to have a heart attack on this, is it's endorsed by the EPA and the DEA. When do you ever get those two groups to agree on something? So this is biodegradable, and more importantly, it gets this stuff off the streets and out of the reach of people. We have these anonymous drop-off places, and they're highly successful, but there's still a lot of people that are embarrassed to drop this stuff off. Hey, there's Bob. He's dumping out all his orange containers of drugs. Nobody wants to see that. So we are making it zero excuse to have this, and I'm telling you, it's going to help save people. By the way, the treatment is another thing. Let me just get into that. One of the biggest things we have, Darcy and I get personal calls on our cell phone together from residents. People need help. My son, my daughter, my wife, my husband, whatever, is addicted. They finally said they need help. They can't get them a bed. We can't get them into a treatment facility. The one opportunity you get for these individuals to actually say, I want help, and it's not available, is unacceptable. So one of the big things we're going to do is to make sure that that help's available. And then the third is obviously continuing to support them with recovery, so they have some place to go, so they don't fall off the right path. Orange County Think Differently. Now, this is a group of people comprised of county employees and department heads, and coming from different walks of life. Then also with businesses and nonprofits, and a lot of parents. Last weekend, I went to a Light It Up Blue. A lot of people, a lot of attention for autism and people with different types of disabilities that don't have all the opportunities that we have, that we can by doing some simple things and having some dialogue. Packed to the gills last Saturday, fundraiser for Light It Up Blue, which is going towards Think Differently. We're doing, and I know I'm going in reverse order, but that's how I roll. First annual Think Differently Starts with a Smile is happening in May. And then we also have Honor. So I talked to Honor this morning. They run our homeless shelter in Middletown, doing wonderful things. You do not see the homeless problem that there is in other places to the degree, the extreme degree they have in other places that you have here. We actually do some good stuff for homeless people here. Incredible stuff. I've seen them take individuals off the street, give them a clean set of clothes, shower, mental health. What happened to you? There's many people that either have mental health issues. There's also people that have made a couple bad decisions. And there's also people that have just had a series of bad luck, or whatever you want to call it. Regardless, they're human beings. And the worst thing to do is let them stay out on the street. So what we do at Honor, we do incredible stuff. And majority of the people in Honor right now are families, not individuals, families. So we are having our first sensory room for a homeless shelter in the state. So all good stuff. Access, one of our partners. I see Chris Masters. He is a partner on something else we're going to talk about later on. But these are some of our many partners that are helping making a difference here. So our Veterans Service Agency, another great group of awesome people. Half of the people that work there are veterans. Not Navy veterans, I don't think yet, but we're working on it. So $1 million in benefit claims. So most of this money is federal money owed to the veteran that they didn't know that they were eligible for. So this is for like disability, increased compensation for your retirement, pension claims, burial claims, education benefits, healthcare benefits, service-connected disabilities. Just last month, they got $9,000 a month tax-free VA compensation for a Vietnam-era veteran, and they also got a $50,000 retro check for his Parkinson's related condition. We also have the Honor Flight, which just had their like 15th or 20th flight over the weekend. A number of veterans. I think they had 2 World War II veterans. When I went on, they were pretty much all World War II veterans about 10 years ago. But it just tells you about where the generation's shifting to. Majority Vietnam, some Korean. But regardless, if you want something, if you're a company listening, there's 2 organizations I would tell you. If you want your staff or you to get involved to kind of know the county, Honor Flight's one of them. The other one is Leadership Orange. But Honor Flight, you meet these people. I got a sandwich today in Chester Deli. The girl that took care of me said, "Hey, Mr. Neuhaus, you ever hear the Honor Flight?" I'm like, "Yeah, why? What's up?" She goes, "I went on it last weekend, one of the best days of my life." Same thing with me. I had 2 guys, 2 Italian guys, both World War II veterans. They both passed away over the last year or 2. We've been friends for 10 years since that. Incredible stories. Not only do you get to network with these veterans and you get to hear their stories that many of their families don't know, but you also get to network with other people in the community, and you make lifelong friends. So here's some of our initiatives. Here's Chris Masters and I, my friend John Douthit, who's also in the audience, and some of our friends from Burke Catholic and Access to put this together. So one of the things that I'm making a push for, and everybody thought I was crazy to do this, but we're going to get it done, and it is getting done, is CPR. So I've flown on planes, probably 25 flights in the last year and a half. And at least 10 of the flights, while I was on it, the pilot comes on, "Is there a doctor on board?" 10 seconds later, "Is there a nurse on board?" Then after like 30, 40 seconds, "Is there anybody who knows anything about emergency medical care?" I'm like, I could do TCCC, I could try to save somebody, and it won't look pretty. So at least 10 times myself and other military members have had to step up to do some type of emergency service to try to help somebody survive it. Thank God none of them died. But you saw what happened, the attention with the football player in Buffalo, dropped dead on the field, got emergency care, they stabilized him, got him to the hospital, saved his life. Majority of Americans don't know basic first aid. Just over, 15 years ago, I went to a fire call as a volunteer firefighter before I got active with the military. A woman not breathing. Showed up to her house in Monroe, Christmas Day. She's underneath the Christmas tree, not breathing. Husband's crying, kids crying. She died. Nobody knew how to do CPR. My team showed up there 5-10 minutes after the 911 call. So these are the type of things, all my stuff is based on learning experiences. And I don't want to be the person waiting for someone to help. I want to be part of the solution. And I want you guys and the public to be able to have that opportunity if they want to. So I said, let's do CPR, let's offer it for free. If somebody already has a CPR program, fine. I'll go to the next town, I'll go to the next school. John Douthit from Burke, I said, what do you think? He said, let's do it. We did it last week, proof of concept to make sure it works. County legislature and the rest of the county is on board. All these kids got trained last week. Goshen School District did theirs today. It's happening. And it's open to every group, every religious group, every community group, schools. If you want to do it, click on that QR code, which I call a bug, but apparently that's not what you call it. But click on that QR code, and we'll get you to help. The other things that we have as opportunities is Narcan training, and also a new thing is mental health. We also train young men and women on picking up mental health issues that they might not know that are going on with one of their classmates, and it's something that they need to report to a parent or somebody from school to get that individual help before they do something that's rash. I hate to use that language, but yeah. So thank you, Chris, for doing that. It's great. And John Douthit, you guys were part of my proof of concept. Business attraction. So like I said, we're not afraid to do crazy things and try new things. So one of the things that everybody's been talking about for a long time, we need a convention center in Orange County. We're big enough, we should have one. So we said, I'm not sure, but let's find out. So they applied for a grant. We got $55,000 from a CFA. Now we're going to get $55,000 of a study. They've been kicking the tires all over the county over the last month or so, where they think the best location is, how big this facility should be, who's the type of people that we're looking to attract, And that report will be out in May. If it's something that we can work with, fine. But at least we tried it. County Clerk Kelly Eskew has been doing a phenomenal job. She's been doing all sorts of great stuff. Best bedside manner of anybody ever had the job, and probably out of Team Orange by far. But she's been talking about this. She wanted to bring her office to the people. So you don't have to just show up to the certain brick and mortar locations. She wanted to take her show on the road, and we were waiting for this van to be built because of the pandemic slowed down our assembly lines, but it's open. I know for a fact they were out this week in Pine Bush, no, not in Pine Bush, in Port Jervis first, and then in Crawford, which includes Pine Bush. She was in her hometown yesterday. So this is great stuff. It's going to operate 5 days a week. So if you're a local town supervisor, mayor, and you want them in your community, just give them a holler. They'll be there. It's great stuff. Health Department. Now, this looks like the mystery van from Scooby-Doo, but I didn't pick the color. But this is paid for 100% by the federal government. I think our new health commissioner picked it, but it looks good. My honeybees would like it. So this is going to travel all over the county. It's handicap accessible. It's going to be giving testing, immunizations, health screenings, outreach. It's a great thing. So again, another awesome thing, taking it to the residents. Coming up this year, we still have some great events coming out in Orange County. We never stopped during the pandemic. We kind of changed the way they were done, but we're going to grow them even more. So you got the farmers markets, highly successful, keeping a lot of farms alive in the county. We have our air show, which I said that we finally got the Blue Angels back after 3 years of the Air Force, which did a great job, but we wanted to spice it up a little diversity. That's coming here in June. And then we also have our Freedom Fest, which we allowed the towns, villages, and cities in the county do your 4th of July show. We'll do ours a couple weeks later, and we're going to target a thank you to our veterans and first responders. So summing it all up, like I said, if you want to take stuff away, lowest tax rate since '64. That's because of our county staff, our department heads, and our legislature and myself working together on our, obviously, Team Orange. Our debt is down. You don't hear that. Our tourism is booming, and we're investing in school safety, #1 issue in America right now, and our open space continues to be expanded. So that is our state of the county. It's strong. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being part of my team, and have a wonderful night. Thank you. Okay.